Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here again.
So nice to have you once more. So in this week's podcast, we're going to be talking about a major aspect pattern, the Grand Trine.
Yes.
We've done a couple of patterns in the past, but this is one that's super interesting. And the reason we're actually going to be talking about it particularly now is because there's there's several forming in November 2025. However, Grand Trines in general, you need to know about them.
Nice. Yeah.
It's a great thing.
It really is.
Yeah. So let's just get to then finding out what is a Grand Trine.
Yeah.
So a Grand Trine is 3 or more planets that make trines to each other, and they make an equilateral triangle, because then it becomes all 3 are hooked into this pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting thing, because when you have 3 points in science, that's the first time you've got a plane.
Right.
Prior to that, you just have a straight up line or a point.
Yeah.
So now you've got this plane. So this is why triangles in general are interesting, but this is an equilateral triangle, so it's absolutely got balance.
Yeah.
It's one of those Ptolemaic balance shapes.
It's got because it's equal all around.
All sides and all angles are. Yeah.
So it's like some sort of, it's not the golden ratio, but there's something about triangles that's very powerful, because it is the first shape that is stable. If you think about like it, standing as a, you can make a table with 3 legs. Pyramids. Well, pyramids have 4 sides, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. But right, it's like you could make a 3-legged chair or table that is perfectly
suddenly you've got balance, right?
Stable,
a milkmaid stool.
Right. Yeah, totally.
I mean, we've all seen them, right?
Right, exactly. It's a great point. Yeah. But it's interesting, because the trine is it's sort of the not weakest, but it's kind of the least. We don't really talk that much about trines unless we are getting deep into a chart, or if they're very exact, because they're just kind of, it's nice to have. It's like, this is a good flowing aspect.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem. But a Grand Trine, like, then it becomes interesting.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden this is a major feature of the chart.
Yes. And not every chart will have a Grand Trine. I don't, you don't, people, we don't, there are not necessarily people who have these. And what's also interesting about Grand Trines is that typically they're in one of the elements.
Exactly. Yes. Very rarely they'll be in, one of them will be out of sign, but usually it will all be in one element.
And by the elements, we mean
fire, water, air, and earth.
Yeah. So in astrology, we've got these 4 elements. And if you've got this triangle, it's going to lie and find it. In general, it finds itself within one of the elements.
Yes.
And in that case, you would then refer to it as, say, a fire Grand Trine or a water Grand Trine.
Exactly.
Do you have anyone in your family who's got a Grand Trine?
I do. My partner of 27 years.
Wow.
Roger,
get the medals out. Yeah?
Yes. It's a thing. He has a Grand Trine in water.
Really?
Yeah. So he's got the moon, Saturn, and the sun, and Mercury. So he's got a kind of a double Grand Trine.
He's got 2 Grand Trines.
Sun and Mercury are conjunct in Scorpio. And then he's got moon in Cancer and Saturn in Aquarius. So is that an out of sign? Yeah, it is. So it's out of sign or out of element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, out of sign, as you say,
right.
Technically we say disassociate.
Yeah, because thank goodness he does not have Saturn in Pisces. No shade on the Pisces, but you see how that would be less desirable for Saturn.
So that actually weakens the trine. If it's out of sign, it does weaken the trine. Whereas if you've got a solid fire Grand Trine, my son has a fire Grand Trine. He's the only person in my whole family who's got a Grand Trine.
Yeah,
and as you know, trines are pretty much bring a lot of ease to life, and he did cruise a long time, and without really lifting a finger, whereas everyone else is sweating away, and things just appear, because that is the nature of the trine.
Yeah.
And also, additionally, when you've got a Grand Trine, every 4 months the sun and planets will actually transit across it and trigger the trine and trigger the good thing that this trine is. Right. So trines tend to be, let's get some keywords out there, they are easygoing, harmonized,
right?
Things flow,
and good things kind of come to you, because there's that constant thing where, as you say, they're being activated by any kind of transit, and it's going to activate all of those points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole trine gets triggered.
Yeah. It's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. And that is exactly. And that is the thing with these major aspect patterns, that if you do have them, you tend to be addressing them all the time because the transits keep coming through, triggering these trines, these big patterns. And in the case of the Grand Trine, it's every 4 months with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus coming by. Ping, ping, ping. Yeah. And you think, oh, more good things are coming my way. And people with trines, they think, isn't life good for everybody? What's your problem?
Right. Like, doesn't this come naturally to everyone? Oh, I've just always been an entrepreneur, or I've always,
it's a piece of cake. What's the problem?
Keep the house perfectly clean and spotless. And everyone's like, how do you do this? Do you have a cleaner? And they're like, no, what's that? I don't understand.
Yeah. So just quickly then, so with a fire Grand Trine, this would then inspire creativity, enthusiasm, and confidence for the person.
Yeah.
An Earth Grand Trine brings practicality, stability, and material success. Mm-hmm. The Air Grand Trine enhances intellect, communication, and social grace. You can talk your way out of anything. And then the Water Grand Trine deepens sensitivity, emotional awareness, and intuition.
Yeah.
So each of these elements are strongly emphasized within your chart in a Grand Trine, and they're all hooked in together. And as you were saying with your partner, because he's got the conjunction of the Sun and Moon on the one point.
Mercury. Yeah.
Sorry, the Sun and Mercury. Technically, then there are 2 trines lying there, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not. You don't just need to have 3 planets to make a Grand Trine. If you've got multiple planets at the points, as you'll see in a moment when we look at this November one, you can have multiple Grand Trines as well, which kind of interesting.
For sure. Yeah.
Definitely. And when we say these out of sign trines, if you've got, say, 2 planets in air and the third one's in water, it's out of sign. Yeah. So it's slightly weaker, but you've still got a Grand Trine.
Yeah.
So the Aubon trines is 8 degrees. That's what I use. I don't know where you stand on that.
I usually do 6. But
do you? Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's a Grand Trine, I would definitely give a little wiggle room, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that, a bit of wiggle room on the orbs.
Yeah.
And because it's a trine aspect itself is a natural flow and ease, right? And I've just got some points I just want to go over here, that with Grand Trines in natal charts show where life feels effortless. Mm-hmm. People with the pattern often have natural talents or abilities that seem to come easily. Yeah. There's a sense of comfort and familiarity around the themes of the planets that are in the trine represent. And while this flow is pleasant, it can also create a tendency to take things for granted.
Yeah. And that's really interesting. Just in the examples that I've been looking at, for example, my partner, if you're looking at Sun, Moon, and Saturn, and you would think, oh, it's interesting, Sun, Moon, sure, that makes sense. He had a very harmonious home life. His parents got along extremely well. Mm-hmm. That was a wonderful source of stability in his life. But for Saturn to be in there, he was basically started his own business very, very young. He was always kind of an entrepreneur. He always kind of worked for himself. He's never had a corporate job. He had a couple of businesses of his own, or he was, a musician and making money that way. Or, he's always kind of been a self-starter. Mm-hmm. So I see that really with Sun, Moon, and Saturn being part of his personality. It's just an example of how those 3 planets work together as such a flowing thing. Mm-hmm. I personally, the idea of being an entrepreneur when I was in my 20s, what? No, I was
spell the word.
I was working in retail and serving in restaurants. No, and he was, running his own business and
Saturn,
and moving to another country and setting up shop in California.
So, what are the signs that those planets are in? The Sun is in Scorpio. I know that.
Oh yeah, Moon's in Capricorn and Saturn is in Aquarius.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, when you're looking at these patterns, you want to say to yourself, because it's an equilateral triangle, which planet is stronger? And straight off, we have to say Saturn's in its own sign. So that it's got to be dominant where they're within it. And of course, the Moon is weak because it's in Capricorn. So it's
Cancer.
It's Cancer, you said?
Yeah, Cancer.
No, well, it can't. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. So the Moon is strong,
Cancer, Scorpio,
Saturn is strong, and then
Sun in Scorpio. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So typically you want to look at those sort of things, and also say, for instance, with the trine, say you've got Mars in, I don't know, say you've got Mars in whatever, but you've got another planet in Scorpio. Mars will dispose that, so the energy flows that way. And you can always check which planet, and you would say to yourself, which planet is the strongest one in this Grand Trine?
Yeah, great.
And
in that case, two of them are in their own sign. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Whereas the Sun is, it's in Scorpio, and the Sun is always something to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
These two are strong here anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, they will be part of his dispository. We didn't do that, but it's going to be, they're going to step forward.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes it's with the Grand Trines, if you just have them and they're just sitting there by themselves, nothing changes. It's like you're lying in a hammock sipping your pina colada.
Right.
But if you've got, say, a square coming off one of these 3 planets in the trine, that's how you're going to manage and harness this energy.
And just the odds are you probably will. Between any 3 planets in your chart, it's pretty likely
that's where the energy is going to come out, because otherwise it just goes round and round and round.
Yeah,
that's the trick with this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's super interesting. Super
sorry
So do we want to talk about those different elements and kind of go into that a little bit?
We can, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a few, just a handful of like kind of celebrity examples for each of
us. Let's look at that. Yeah.
So let's start with fire, because why wouldn't we? The Grand Fire Trine is, as you were saying, there's, confidence, creativity, passion, initiating kind of fire, basically. A few great examples here. Jennifer Lopez, she's got the Sun, Mars, and Pluto.
Okay.
And she's, been just a powerhouse in music and film,
dynamic, isn't she?
So dynamic and just so much endurance. So that's, I think Pluto definitely speaks to that endurance. The fact that she's 55 now? 50, yeah, just insane.
She still looks 21, doesn't she? I mean, it's shocking, isn't it?
Better now than she did in her 20s, honestly.
How do they do it?
It's crazy, yeah. And Tina Turner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tina Turner, legendary, explosive, passionate. She's been performing since she was, a teenager.
Wow.
And just killing it. Yeah, like an icon.
Yeah.
So amazing. Another fantastic example of that. Whitney Houston, another one. So this is very musical.
You're kidding me.
No. And then, pulling in a couple of actresses, Nicole Kidman and Jamie Lee Curtis both have that. So wonderful examples of just bold,
confident, inspirational,
getting started right away, very early in life, and then having the endurance. And no one is seeing these people like going away. They are just, well, except for Whitney Houston, R.I.P. But still, yeah. And Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, if you haven't seen what she looks like now, I mean, just treat yourself, Google it, and you'll be like, what?
How do they do it?
Did she make a pact with
How do they do it? I don't know. What are they in the gym? They must be in the gym, these women.
And Whitney, not Whitney, sorry, Jamie Lee Curtis did something wonderful a few years ago. And before Pamela Anderson went no makeup, Jamie Lee Curtis did a full several page spread with no makeup, and she was just like, I've just turned whatever age it was, I can't remember now, but just I want everyone to know what it looks like, because there's so much falsehood. And this was before AI. This was just basic Photoshop and retouching. And she was like, no, I want people to know what it really looks like when you are this age. And just awesome, amazing. So if you have that bone structure and you're that kind of blessed, whatever. But yeah. So moving on to the Earth Grand Trine.
Yeah.
This is obviously, all those wonderful earthy kind of adjectives like groundedness and practicality and talents that have to do with the material world and solidity. Money as well. Mm-hmm. But also just a really steadfast sort of
rock solid. Yeah,
rock solid. So Jennifer Lawrence is one.
Okay,
and who doesn't love Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani, another one, wonderful musician, and Jack Nicholson, which is interesting.
That's a guy.
Yeah. So celebrities with a Grand Air Trine.
Yes.
This is the one that's going to knock everyone's socks off. So obviously air is associated with communication, with intellect, with social connection, with having a gift for the word and being able to uplift people with their verbosity. Oprah Winfrey.
Wow.
Sun, Moon, and Saturn.
Wow.
And Barack Obama.
Wow.
I mean, two of the most powerful orators.
The two O's, Oprah and Obama.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, there are a few others, but I think we can just leave those two
right there.
That's what more do you want?
Nothing's going to top those two. Yeah. Right? Wow. Amazing.
Exactly. And then the Grand Water Trine.
Yes.
A few examples. These are all actresses. And Michael B. Jordan, actor. Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Emma Stone.
Okay.
Reese Witherspoon. So that deep emotional intelligence, that intuition, that being able to express yourself artistically, and all three of those actresses have either won or been nominated for Academy Awards. Emma Stone's won, I believe, 2 now.
Really?
Reese Witherspoon has won Best Actress, and I think Emily Blunt does as well, or at least she's just been nominated.
Wow.
So yeah, that's and that empathy and that being able to convey your emotions
and cry on camera.
Exactly. There are tons more, but those are just the examples that came up right away.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people, and if our listeners, they're likely to have Grand Trines in their charts, or the family members would,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A few historical figures too, like not just to throw the newer. If anyone knows who Leonardo da Vinci is.
Oh, we've heard of him.
Have you heard of him?
Turtle. Yeah, we've heard of him.
Mozart.
Yes.
Grand Trine of the outer planets. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, apparently. Crazy.
Imagine.
Right? Muhammad Ali. And Bobby Fischer, the chess master.
Fantastic.
With a nearly exact air Grand Trine. So that intellect. Yeah.
Fantastic. So these Grand Trines, they've offered ease to these people.
Right.
It's like doors are opening.
So many child prodigies and teenage.
Because it's there from birth.
Right.
You've got this trine from birth.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have it, but it would be great to have. I've seen it in action in my son, and obviously people just give him things, and I'm thinking, why don't you have to work for things and the girls have to? But anyway, so that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is with Grand Trines is that when you get transits coming around, not just from the sun, but all the planets, when they're sitting on one of the points, they're triggering the whole trine. Yeah. So again, this whole ease, harmony vibe goes on in your life. So it's really a great thing. Yeah. It's a great thing to have in life because it makes life easier.
Yeah. And who doesn't want that? Yeah. There's enough difficulty and squares and grand crosses and whatnot in the chart.
So this is very different, where things just get handed to them, and life has become much easier for them.
Yeah.
So
in the way that those planets. There will of course also be squares.
Yes.
There will never be a chart without any squares whatsoever.
Yeah. So that's good. The one chart example I looked at, and if you click through to the blog post, you can see this, is the one for Hugh Laurie.
Oh, lovely.
So he's got Mercury, Neptune, and Chiron.
Ooh, nice.
So once more, I've had to trawl through my data banks to find a chart I wanted to talk about, and so we've got this one, and so this is a disassociate one where he's got Mercury in Gemini, and then Neptune's in Scorpio, and Chiron's in Aquarius. Oh. So it's there. It's definitely a Grand Trine, Mercury, Neptune, and Chiron, which is super interesting. And so what I've done is I've unpacked it trine by trine. I don't know if I want to go into each one, do I? Each of the trines, I've separated them out separately, but you can definitely read about it if you want to. So just to unpack Laurie's Grand Trine in a little bit more detail. So he's got Mercury trine Neptune. So what I'm saying is this pattern is typical of someone who expresses themselves through words or ideas, often as a writer, speaker, or performer.
Yeah.
The trine to Neptune adds a vivid imagination and emotional depth, gifts that can be channeled into storytelling or performance. In Hugh Laurie's case, this blend of intellect and creativity points clearly to the chart of an actor and someone who can think deeply, feel deeply, and bring those inner worlds to life on stage or screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just the Mercury trine Neptune, just as a by the way.
Yeah.
Next up, if we look at the Mercury trine Chiron, now this air trine suggests a naturally compassionate and caring nature. He likely feels deeply for others and shows quiet understanding rather than open display. Of course, we don't really know. But I believe it also points to someone who values privacy and prefers to keep his personal life out of the public eye, maintaining a calm and protected inner world, which is, I think, the case, although he's pretty well known.
Yeah.
And then he's got this Neptune trine Chiron. So this combination suggests he can draw from deep emotional experiences, perhaps even past pain, and channel them powerfully through his acting.
Yeah.
Neptune here highlights his ability to step into different roles and express a wide range of feelings with authenticity. A Neptune trine Chiron can be the signature of someone who can transform emotion into art using imagination and empathy to bring his characters to life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
Right.
So just having a quick look at some of his work, I'm not going into absolutely everything. So he started off basically in Jeeves and Wooster, if you know this. So here he played Bertie as a carefree and light-hearted, drifting through life without much concern person. This easygoing nature reflects the effortless flow of this Grand Trine, because when it's in your chart, you end up doing the roles related to the chart as well.
Yeah. Totally.
Then when he was in Blackadder, and especially when he was playing Prince George, he portrayed someone charmingly out of touch with reality. This aligns to the Mercury-Trine-Neptune link that blends intellect with imagination, and the Mercury-Chiron trine as well, which expresses quirks or vulnerabilities in a humorous and somewhat endearing way.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, in House, he embodied the sharp, analytical doctor, that's the Mercury, who lived with chronic pain, that's the Chiron, right? The depth and realism he brought to this role, I think, perfectly revealed the emotional quality of this Grand Trine.
Absolutely. 100%.
So you see this in actors. When they've got it in their chart, they play those roles. We saw it with the guy who played in Dexter's Laboratory. I can't remember his name, Michael somebody. And he was a Scorpio. And prior to being this serial killer, he played a role as an undercator.
Oh, yes, in 6 Feet Under.
Yes, 6 feet under. Same, Scorpio. And you end up playing the roles that are in your chart anyway. And this is what Hugh Laurie has done too. And the reason I actually liked him when I was trawling through all the charts trying to find one that I wanted to talk about, he was actually born 6 weeks before me.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of planets the similar way. So I'm a huge fan, let's face it.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
Every time I see him now in like small parts in something, I'm like, oh, yay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we've both dug out a few charts that are worth talking about. And there's Grand Trines are not in every chart, but they're in a lot of charts.
Yeah.
But if you are going to be born in November 2025, you are going to have Grand Trines.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the chart we want to talk about. I want to talk about. And it's got, and specifically, these Grand Trines are forming during November, but then on the 19th, when I tightened up the orbs, at the new moon on the 19th of November at 28 Scorpio, the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are at the apex point of one of the points. So there's 3 planets at that point. And then on the second point, we've got Saturn conjunct Neptune in Pisces. There's 2 planets at the second point. And then the third point is Jupiter in Cancer.
Wow.
So what this actually means is that there are actually 6 grand trines technically in this chart. Wow. And I've listed them there. So you've got the Moon, Jupiter, Saturn. You've got the Moon, Jupiter, Neptune. Sun, Jupiter, Saturn. Sun, Jupiter, Neptune. Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune.
And all water. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
There are 6 crazy. Water grand trines at the new moon. It's huge.
Yeah. And 3 of them involve Scorpio planets.
Yes.
So intense.
It's huge. This is going to be absolutely huge. And anyone born on that day, baby born on that day, is going to have massive luck and fortune.
And what day is this exact again?
The 19th of November 2025. Yeah. Yes. So of these 6 grand trines, the strongest grand trine, the most powerful of all of them, is the Sun, Jupiter, Neptune, because all of the planets are strong. The Sun is always to be considered strongly in a chart. Yeah. Jupiter is in exaltation and Cancer and very much at home there. And Neptune is in the sign of its dignity, Pisces, albeit retrograde. But that is the strongest of the 6. And then the weakest grand trine of the bunch is actually the Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, because all 3 planets are retrograde and less effective overall. So in general, the 3 moon grand trines, the moon is in fallen Scorpio, so weaker. However, it's the new moon. Right. So we cannot dismiss that. Yeah. And the 3 Jupiter grand trines, the greater benefic is moderately strong in exaltation in Cancer. We've spoken about Jupiter in Cancer. And then in the 3 Neptune grand trines, Neptune is strong in its own sign. So although we've got 6 grand trines, and technically you would really interpret them as one, astrologically you need to unpack them to see which is the strongest grand trine here and which is the weakest. And it's clear which is which.
Yeah. So if you were looking at this chart, if you were looking at someone, say, 20-some, 30-some years from now, this person, has, who's born on this day.
Yeah.
How would you,
it's endless.
Yeah.
Ease and charm, and life is just charmed.
I'm seeing like a peacemaker, like a negotiator, someone who can
absolutely in tune,
empathize with everyone. And
because every 4 months as the sun and Mercury and Venus come around, it's triggering 6 whole planets.
Really, really interesting.
And it's very, and it dominates.
Yeah.
This absolutely dominates this chart. The day before and the week before, the week after, there is a bit of a kite forming, but we're looking at the Grand Trines in greater detail here,
Wow.
And that's super interesting. So the thing is too, that if you have in your natal chart, if you've got planets at 28 Scorpio, or you've got planets around 25, 29 Pisces, or you've got planets at 25 Cancer, this transiting Grand Trine is going to hit you in November and hopefully bring ease, fortune, and good things to you.
Amazing. I love that.
In amongst the chaos of all the other stress that we have in life.
That's going on right now. Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, it will pass you by because it's trines.
Yeah.
But if you are paying attention, or your astrologist pointed it out, or you've listened to our podcast, you're going to know, and you're going to look at your chart and say, do I have planets here, or ascendants, or what have you, in these positions? Do you have any planets in these positions? No.
No, all my planets are really in the first decan. Really?
Yeah. I've got nothing in any of these.
One or two exceptions. I think I have something at 21 or maybe. Yeah. Everything is very early in.
But anyone around the that 28 Scorpio mark is going to definitely be triggered at that new moon. Yeah. It's not just going to be there's a new moon in Scorpio. It's going to be, and we've got 6 Grand Trines on board as well. So why not lean into this?
Yeah.
If you know it's coming up and it's going to affect your chart, lean in and make the most of whatever it is we're trying to achieve in your life. Because honestly, I want to say the gods are in your favor.
Totally. Yeah.
I
love that. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. And so Arwynne, in other news.
Yeah. So I have just finished my second ever Inktober / what I'm calling Pinktober.
Fantastic.
Our challenge. Yes. We talked about this back in the day, earlier this year. We talked about how we were doing Inktober. You were doing Starzologer, and the month went amazingly.
You did all 31 women?
I did. I rose to the challenge amazingly.
Oh my God. Fantastic.
Some of the days I did not want to draw. I didn't know if I'd have time to, and I was just like, you know what? Just do it. We talked about this like in the past one time about, just the difference in your motivation. I can't remember what the astrology thing was, but we looked at some trine that I have between maybe Mars and Saturn. I can't remember what it was. And we were just like, yes, I have, the ability to assimilate motivation and just to do, even if I don't want to do it, it's just going to happen. And I just force myself to do it. It's like working out. It's like, no, I obviously don't want to, on a rainy day.
Mars on the sun.
Yeah, Mars. Yes, Mars trying the sun. Exactly. And it's just, I find it easy to motivate myself, even if I don't want to do something, I'm like, just put on your workout gear and do it. Don't think about it. Put on a podcast, just do it. And I have the same way with art. And it's not as much of a slog, of course, as, working out.
So every day you did a fresh drawing in your sketchbook.
Yeah. And then colorized. And some days I was just like, can I get away with just doing the ink, outline? No, you must color it. Even if you have no idea, this one time, this was the funniest one. And if you've been following my Instagram or blog and you've seen these, you will know Chamunda, this Hindu demon queen goddess, it was a day that I was doing a burlesque performance that evening.
Right.
I had done one the night before. So it was 2 nights in a row doing these performances. My mother was visiting in town. We had been up, late celebrating after the burlesque performance, as one does, obviously. And I woke up and I was like,
and I know late for you means late.
It's pretty late. Yeah. So I wake up and I'm like, I got to do my drawing.
Wow.
And it's funny, like this particular month, I did not, I actually used ChatGPT to sort of help me create my prompt list.
Okay.
Because I used to exhaustively research all the, go down rabbit holes of lists of gods and goddesses and,
So all of your images, just to be clear, are about goddesses.
All my images are about goddesses, and all my images are drawn from scratch from me, no AI whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But what I did this year was I asked ChatGPT to help me create a list of prompts, and I said, let's get a list of goddesses from around the world, a very good mix of different nationalities and different regions and different cultures. Make them all kind of on the, the badass end of the spectrum, like not light, fluffy, goddesses of love and light. Yeah. But, kind of demons or, crazy witch goddesses, or, some of them are just lovely, like powerful, like maternal goddesses. And some of them are like, crazy, like skeletal demons. But this particular one, it's, when I looked it up, I was like, oh no, because I didn't really look into too much of the mythology beforehand. I'm kind of letting it surprise me, like every day. Sometimes I know what's coming ahead, and sometimes I forget, and I just look in the morning. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm drawing, Hecate, the Greek goddess of magic, and and the underworld this, today. And this one, I was already tired, and I'm like, oh great, she has 6 arms, and she's got a weapon in each arm, and she's got a garland of skulls around her neck. And she's got a face of...
What's her name again?
Chamunda.
Chamunda.
I'm gonna look that up and make sure that I'm not butchering the pronunciation. But, oh my God, I was like, no, why does it have to be the most complicated possible?
Wow.
And I forced myself to do it. It was, I wouldn't say...
Well, kudos to you for pushing through, because this is the thing with art, isn't it? You have to keep going with these... Yeah, with yourself, with these projects.
Well, exactly. And I wouldn't say she's my best, but certainly not my worst, like it's...
Well, this is the thing about daily art practice. It's daily art practice where you're constantly going at it. And wow, yes.
Yeah.
And in the end, it makes you a better artist.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that I was able to just continually, whether it's something that I'm proud of and I'm going to, use in the calendar, or if it's just, wow, that was an exercise in
But it's
whatever.
So interesting to hear about the process of how the challenges of actually doing this sort of art. And what's the medium you're using? Could you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I draw them all in pencil first.
Yeah.
I have an HB pencil, and then I have a bunch of sort of ranging from like 2B to like 5B. I almost never use the 5 and 7B because now I'm just using the pencil to get the initial drawing out.
Right.
And then I use a point, literally like 0.1 fineness of pen, sometimes 0.3, and ink in the outline. And I'm photographing the black and white outline so that eventually I can create a coloring book.
Yes.
So one day when I have like literally maybe 100 of these drawings from
365 we're going for, Arwynne.
There we go. It'll take a couple of years probably, but that coloring book will come out eventually. But yeah, so I take the picture once the black and white drawing is done, and then I post them both on Instagram. So I post both the black and white and the colorized one.
Okay.
And then for the colors, I'm using I believe you also are using the same these Tombow ink pens. They're wonderful. They are a little finicky. Some of them are wonderful. They blend so easily, and then some of them are just streaky, and the paper immediately begins to sort of bubble up, and you're like, no, what's happening? So they're definitely finicky. But
I'm learning, place. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm learning which colors are easier to work with, and I'll use those a lot for the backgrounds. And then some I'm like, oh God, why did I, use that one? Because it's very much a learning curve. But the good news is, obviously, we're publishing this podcast in November. I've completed the entire month of Inktober, and I now have a calendar for 2026.
A physical calendar.
A physical calendar, which I am selling on my website.
Okay, so we will put a link to that in this below the podcast episode.
Yeah, so
we'll put a link to so you can support Arwynne and get a calendar.
Absolutely.
And with 12 original art, not 31. It's just the 12, right?
Yep, absolutely. 12,
okay.
one per month.
So are you selecting only the arts that you've done this year, or are you going back into your archives and putting a blend together?
There are a couple from last December or October. A couple that I really loved that I brought forward.
Fantastic.
But most of them are from this year's.
Oh, this is also new,
October.
and you're going to be telling us a little bit maybe about the mythology of the woman?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can also go to my blog, my MsPink.net website, my Substack, and you can read my every week in October I published a little roundup of the
7 you did.
The 7 per week. And those, I go into a great deal more detail about the mythology and, the actual story. But I have a little sentence, like a little sentence or two that introduces what the goddess is.
I know I saw a couple of them and I thought, I've never heard of this woman. I've never heard of that woman.
No, I'd never heard of more than half of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of the great things
exploration then into the goddess.
Well, that's what I love. I've been doing this now for several years. I started the Badass Goddess theme in, I believe, 2018.
Okay.
So maybe, I think
8 years in then.
Yeah. I mean, so that's a lot of goddesses that I've covered. So I'm kind of getting down to like having to sort of really poke around into the mythologies of all these different cultures and finding kind of the hidden gems in the pantheons of the world. Right.
So this calendar is available for our listeners too. They can just click through and purchase it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. And if you happen to be listening to this on YouTube, you can certainly in the comments suggest some other goddesses that Arwynne could be looking into next year.
Yes. Oh, if you have a favorite goddess, please write to us at starzology@gmail.com.
Yeah, or put the comment in the YouTube.
Or throw the comment down there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. And I know I have your calendars. I've had your calendars for several years. Well, basically since I've known you.
Exactly.
And I've got my current year is hanging in the kitchen, and it's I don't recall the name of the woman. It's not flowing off me because once you got past Venus and Athena, you lost me, right?
Yeah. I think most people know more goddesses than they think. I mean, the Valkyries; those are they're not exactly goddesses.
Freya,
Freya. They're death spirits of the Valhalla. But I think most people know a few more goddesses than they think they do.
Do you do North American?
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, so many. I mean, especially there's the Aztec and Mayan pantheons of goddesses and goddesses. Amazing. Wow. There are a couple. One of my favorites actually of this year is an Aztec goddess. And honestly, when I started drawing this one, I did not know what was going to happen, and it turned out to be one of my absolute favorites. And this one is, I'm not even going to be able to pronounce this at all. It's spelled Tlazolteotl. So
there you go.
Tatsoliotl.
Sounds great.
Sure. Well, she's the Aztec sin eater. She's the patroness of adulterers and midwives. And she is both a sign of she's a symbol of carnality and excess and sin, but she's also the one who purifies. So she devours the sins, so you're purified. And I just was delighted with how this picture turned out, and I did not expect that she would turn out to be one of my favorites. Fantastic. But
So this calendar is full color.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Full color glossy. Let's go there. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just so our listeners are aware. Yeah. No, this is great. So this is the calendar, let's be clear, for 2026.
2026, yep. Okay. And it's available now.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So listeners, make sure that you pick up a copy of Arwynne's calendar. It'll be just in time for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Okay, so in this episode, we've been talking about Grand Trines. We've used a few examples of different Grand Trines in different elements. Arwynne's had a few famous people's charts as well. We've had a closer look at Hugh Laurie's chart because he's got a Grand Trine, and we've discussed it quite a bit. It's very interesting to have Grand Trines. They're great things to have in charts. So if you have found value in this episode, please share it with anybody who would be interested. Make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. Additionally, make sure you're getting Arwynne's newsletter, and you can find her at...
I'm at mspink.net. That's mspink.net. And I'm sending out my newsletter every Saturday. I'm writing about goddesses and art and personal stories and popular culture and books and etc.
Yeah, it's a great read. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the two main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer or someone who's learning astrology or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there. Or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.